أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Alhamdulillah, we thank Almighty Allah for giving us today. I greet every one of you at home by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today on biology, we are going to look at the life cycle of some organisms and see how they develop into adult stage. Don't forget, last week we looked at sexual reproduction in some organisms, and we mentioned that of insects. We said that in insect, metamorphosis is the process through which the insect reproduces. And we mentioned that we have complete and incomplete metamorphosis. We gave examples of organisms that undergo complete metamorphosis and those that undergo incomplete metamorphosis. Now we want to choose one organism or insect that undergo complete metamorphosis and one that undergoes incomplete, in order to see how they develop into adult stage, or to see how metamorphosis occurs in them. Now, life cycle of housefly. Housefly exhibits complete metamorphosis. That is, it develops from egg to larva, larva to pupa, pupa to adult. Housefly breathes on decomposing organic materials, as we all know. You find housefly on rotting food, dumping area, or on feces, etc. It has a lifespan of 3 to 4 weeks. That's a lifespan of 3 to 4 weeks. Now it develops from egg to adult stage. During the egg stage, housefly lays about 2 to 7 batches of eggs, each consisting about 100 to 150 eggs. The eggs are laid in moist, rotting materials. Then it hatches into larvae within 8 hours to 3 days. That is the egg stage of a housefly. It lays a lot of eggs, about 2 to 7 batches, and in each batch we have about 100 to 150 eggs. So, and you know, we find this in rotting areas, in dumping areas, and any other area where we have decaying materials. This egg stage develops into larva stage, which is the second stage after these 3 hours to 8 hours to 3 days. At larva stage, the larva stage is otherwise known as maggot. I hope you are familiar with maggot in your food. When the food is rotting, you find maggot in them. This maggot has about 12 segments. That is, the larva stage is segmented. So we have about 12 segments in the larva stage of a housefly. The head of housefly of this larva stage bears a pair of hooks. This hook is used for tearing food and to draw maggots along from one place to another. There's also a small mouth that lies between 2 oval lobes in the mouth area for feeding. The larva stage of housefly also has a small spiny pad at the 6th to 12th segment of the organism. This segment, that is 6th to 12th segment, develops what we refer to as small spiny pad that is used for movement, or that acts as legs. Also, in the larval stage of housefly, we have 2 pairs of spiracles for breathing. Don't forget that insects breathe through spiracles, that is small opening on their abdominal region. The larval stage also molts. That is, egg disease occurs in the larval stage too for about 5 to 14 days, in which the organism molts and grows into the next stage of development. The next stage of development, that is the pupa stage, the maggot shortens to become hard and brown. This brown case is called the puparium. So it develops inside the puparium. The puparium is an oval barrel shaped with rings around it. At this stage, the internal reorganization of the body of the organism occurs. From this pupa stage, the organism develops into adult stage, which is otherwise known as imago. Within 3 to 10 days, young adult hatches out of puparium by breaking the puparium with an organ called the tilinum in the head region. So it uses the tilinum to break the puparium so that the adult housefly comes out of the puparium. The imago or adult stage then moves to the surface of the rotting material and flies away when the wings are already developed. So this diagram is showing what we have been discussing. As you can see, the egg laid by housefly. These eggs develop, each of these eggs develops into maggot or larva stage. And we mentioned that the larva stage contains about 12 segments. It's divided into 12 segments. And we have a pair of spiracle, one at the posterior end and the other one at the anterior end. The spiracle is meant for breathing. Then we have the pad spring for movement at the 6th to 12th segment of the organism. Then we have the hook, the anterior hook, which is responsible for feeding in the organism or for tearing food. The organism developed to pupa stage. At the pupa stage, I hope you can see the anterior spiracle for breathing too and the posterior spiracle. Then we have the transfer ring, then the line of split when it is ready to open into, or when the adult organism is coming out of the puparium, then it splits open in that line. The organism develops into adult stage, a well-developed housefly, when it has its wings for flying. Then the organism is now a full-fledged adult, having the three body division: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. As you can see, the organism having the head, the thorax, and the abdomen, the wings, the compound eye, a pair of antennae, and that is the adult stage. Then we have the segmented legs. These are the characteristics of insect. The characteristic of insect. Number 2, we are looking at the life cycle of a cockroach. Don't forget, cockroach undergoes incomplete metamorphosis. This starts from fertilized egg to nymph and finally to adult stage. The organism develops from egg to nymph to adult. So it has 3 stages of development, unlike incomplete metamorphosis, where we have 4 stages of development. In this stage, the male organism introduces sperm into the female abdomen through the genital opening. These sperms are stored in the sperm pouch in the female body. Both sex cells unite and internal fertilization takes place. At the egg stage, the eggs are laid in the honey egg case called the ootheca, plurally known as ootheca. It is a chitinous pus-like structure. The ootheca is pus-like in nature, and there are about 10 to 15 eggs in one case, arranged in 2 rows of 5 to 8 eggs per row. Female cockroach carries the eggs case for some time in its abdominal pouch and deposited it in dark, warm, and humid area. This develops into the next stage, which is the nymph. After about 30 to 100 days, the egg hatch into small, wingless, colorless nymph. The nymph feed and molt severally, and the wings appear. This stage lasts for 10 to 16 months. That means the nymph stage lasts for 10 to 16 months. Then we have the adult stage, where there is appearance of wings, legs, abdomen, and the antenna. This shows the organism has developed into the adult stage, which requires about 11 to 20 months. Let's look at the structure on the screen. We have the ootheca, which contains the eggs. The ootheca, a pus-like material that contains eggs. So after some months, the egg develops into nymph. I hope you can see the nymph stage, which is wingless in nature. So in the wing stage, we have a pair of antennae, the head, then we have the abdominal region, and the segmented leg. The nymph stage develops into adult stage, that is a full-fledged cockroach. Hope you can see the cockroach that developed from egg to that has developed head, the thorax, and the abdominal region. And we have the segmented legs. Then we have a pair of antennae and other characteristics of insects that are present in the organism. That is a full-fledged adult cockroach after 11 to 20 months. Now we move to reproduction in toad. How the toad develops from the egg stage to adult stage. At the beginning of reproduction in toad, we have what we refer to as courtship. This courtship usually occurs during rainy season, in which the male organism make loud cracking noises to attract the female with swollen eggs. I mean, the cracking noise of the male organism attract the female organism towards the male. Then the male climbs on the female back and hold her firmly with his tongue as it lays eggs. So when the male organism holds the female organism firmly from the back, the female organism will lay eggs at that particular time. After which the male organism will now release sperm on the egg for external fertilization to occur. So immediately the sperm is released on the egg, external fertilization will occur. At the egg stage of the organism, the eggs are surrounded by spring of jelly. The eggs are surrounded by a spring of jelly. This spring of jelly materials or jelly-like materials protects the eggs. It receives the oxygen for respiration to occur. It prevents bacterial attack on the eggs, and it prevents the egg from drying up for the period of the egg stage. Then the zygote will develop through mitotic cell division in order to form the embryo. The embryo then feeds and grows around the yolk. It feeds on the yolk and the soft oxygen which diffuses through the jelly. After which the external gill stage develops. At this stage, the organism develops 3 external gills at either side of the head. Honey jaw to feed on water weeds. It also develops honey jaw to feed on water weeds, it develops 3 external gills at the 2 sides of the head in order for respiration to occur. After this stage, it is followed by internal development of internal gills. So at this internal gill stage, this occurs after 6 to 10 days of hatching. External gills develops. External gills that has developed before disintegrates, and the internal gills now develops. So the external gill will disappear, and there will be formation of internal gills. This internal gills is covered by a structure called operculum. It is under this operculum that we are going to have the internal gills. That is, the operculum protects the internal gills. So when the operculum has grown or developed on the gills for protecting it, and there's going to be an opening beside the operculum through which water flows out of the chamber. Water that enters the gill chamber will flow out of the chamber through the spout. After the internal gill stage, in which the organism is using this gill for breathing, then the next stage that follows it is the development of limbs. It is the hind limbs that develop before the forelimbs, so the hind limb grows first before the forelimbs. The internal gills disintegrates at this particular time, that is, it disappears and the lung develops. Don't forget that organism uses lung for breathing on land. So the organism is preparing to live on land. Then the mouth replaces the honey jaw. There will be development of mouth which replaces honey jaw, and the organism feeds on small animals in water. The limb stage is followed by the young toad stage. At this stage, the tadpole changes into a small toad by reabsorbing the tail. The tail will be reabsorbed and they will not be found again. So the organism is developing into adult toad. It comes out of water. The organism comes out of the water, the toad comes out of water to the land, where it grows into a full adult toad. Don't forget, it has developed the lung for breathing. It has developed the lung for breathing already. So the organism can now feed on can now live on land. This organism also comes out of water to the land, as I've mentioned. Then it takes around 40 to 45 days for metamorphosis to occur in organism. That is, from egg to adult stage takes around 40 to 45 days. Metamorphosis in amphibians are controlled by tyrosine hormone, which is produced by thyroid gland. So this thyroid gland develops enables the development of the organism from egg to the adult stage. So the diagram on the screen is showing the development of the toad. As I have said, I hope you can see the egg that is protected by jelly, spring of jelly. Don't forget, the spring of jelly protects it from bacterial attack. It enables dissolving of oxygen, and it prevents drying up of the egg. Then we have after 1 to 2 days, the tadpole has developed around inside the jelly or around the jelly. Then this develops into a young tadpole, which attaches itself to water weed in order not to be dislodged by water. Then the external gill stage develops, in which the organism breathes with the external gill in water. I hope you can see the structure. This is followed by development of This is external gills. I hope you can see the external gill here, which has developed fully around 4 to 20 days. Then this is followed by development of internal gills. This internal gills has already been covered up by operculum. Let's see the position of the operculum. So it is under that operculum that we have the internal gill for breathing in the organism. And it has the tail muscle, and the honey jaw has developed into a mouth. Then this is followed by the development of hind limb. I told you the hind limb will develop before the forelimb. As you can see, the hind limb that has already developed already. Then the mouth for feeding, then the internal gill for breathing. After this, around 36 to 40 days, the forelimb also develops. As you can see, the development of forelimbs. The forelimbs is just coming out of the organism. The organism is developing into a full-fledged adult stage. At this adult stage, the toad is already a well-developed adult. Then we have the lymphatic membrane. We have the forelimbs, the hind limbs. Then the tail has already disintegrated or disappeared. Then you see the trunk. So this is now a full-fledged well-developed toad. So these are the stages involved in the development of toad in organism. So in the next lesson, inshallah, we are still on sexual reproduction. We are still going to look at reproduction in some other organisms, especially the vertebrates. So check into your assignment module and attempt your questions as usual. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.